Hey everybody, Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com to give you my WWE Night of Champions 2014 predictions. Night of Champions is this Sunday live on the WWE Network for just $9.99. Now you have other options. You can not watch it on the network and follow NoDQ.com for live results coverage. Or you could do both. You can watch Night of Champions on the network for just $9.99, and you can go on NoDQ.com and check out the coverage. I will be tweeting my live thoughts on the show, twitter.com/NoDQ, and that live Twitter feed will also be on NoDQ.com. I personally recommend you do both, but enough of that. Let's get down to the predictions. First up, the WWE Divas Championship match, Paige versus AJ Lee versus Nikki Bella in a triple threat. I think that the obvious outcome here is Brie Bella interferes and she will cost Nikki Bella the match, allowing Paige to retain her Divas title. And then you can have AJ and Paige resume their feud, and that continues the Nikki Bella versus Brie Bella feud. So my prediction for this one, Paige to retain the Divas title. Next up, we have the United States Championship match, Sheamus versus Cesaro. Let's face it, Sheamus has been very uneventful as the U.S. champion. Nothing much has happened with him. He hasn't really done anything as champion. I feel it's time for a change. Cesaro is a guy who has lost a lot of his momentum since WrestleMania, and I would like to see Cesaro at a higher level than the U.S. title, but I think anything is better than nothing at this point. I'm all for a change. Give Cesaro the chance to be United States champion. Do something else with Sheamus, because him as United States champion, in my opinion, is not cutting it. So I would like to see Cesaro win the title. And that's my prediction for this match. Cesaro picks up the United States title and gets another opportunity to do something significant in WWE. Will that happen? Who knows? WWE might decide that the United States title is not worth pushing hard on television, and Cesaro might still be in the same exact spot he's been in. Rusev versus Mark Henry. We had the final segment on Raw feature these two guys. Doesn't necessarily mean that WWE sees this as some kind of blockbuster match. To me, the outcome is obvious. Mark Henry is just another guy, just another victim, as Taz would say, to Rusev. This will be another way for Rusev to continue dominating people and WWE building up Rusev as a monster heel. I think he'll do something crazy to Mark Henry. He'll beat him up. He'll throw him around. He'll show off his strength. He'll be very impressive. And Rusev will overcome the monster Mark Henry and continue his reign of terror in the WWE. And who will be able to stop this evil foreigner? Do not think it will be Mark Henry. Rusev, my prediction. The Usos versus the Rhodes brothers. At first, I thought that we would have Cody Rhodes and Goldust, or should I say Stardust and Goldust, win the tag team titles here. The Usos have been champions for a while now, and Stardust and Goldust just did their heel turn, and one would think that in order to keep that momentum going, they would get a tag team title victory. Now, there's also been talk about WWE bringing up the Ascension from NXT, since they just lost their tag team titles in NXT. That way you can have them come in and make a huge impact by beating the Usos for the tag belts. So I don't think that this guarantees that Stardust and Goldust are going to win the tag team titles. I could very well see the Usos retaining. This one's really hard to call. I will go with Stardust and Goldust winning the tag team titles, just because you can always have the Usos win it back and then have the Ascension come up and feud with the Usos for the tag team titles, which I do think will happen at some point. I'm not really a big fan of multiple title changes and the titles going back and forth, but in this case, I think that it would be a good idea to have Stardust and Goldust win the tag team titles, at least in the short term, have the Usos win it back, and then have the Ascension come in and feud with the Usos. At least that's how I would do it. So I'll go with Stardust and Goldust to win the tag team titles, and Usos will win it back at some point. Moving on here, we have The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for the IC title. Since Dolph Ziggler just won the title at SummerSlam, I figured that Ziggler would retain a Night of Champions, but based off of Raw this week, we had Dolph Ziggler pinning The Miz in a tag team match, and usually the guy that gets the upper hand on the go-home show ends up losing at the pay-per-view. So in this case, it would not surprise me to see The Miz win back the IC title, and it doesn't really matter who the champion is. Like the US title, WWE isn't pushing the IC title much. Doesn't really matter who the champion is. This one could really go either way, but since WWE likes to book things where one guy wins and the other guy wins, I'm going to have to go with The Miz here to regain the IC title, and who knows, the title might go back and forth again, who knows. Next up, we have Randy Orton versus Chris Jericho. I think the finish is obvious for this one. Chris Jericho is ending his current run in WWE, and one would think that in this case he would put over somebody on his way out. But you never know, because WWE might think that the outcome is too predictable, that everybody knows Jericho's leaving, and they might try to swerve people. That's always a possibility. They did it several years ago when RVD was leaving. They had a match with RVD and Randy Orton, and RVD actually won the match, and Randy Orton beat him up afterwards, but RVD did get the win. So that could happen, but I think that WWE will stick to just having Jericho put over Randy Orton on his way out, and Randy Orton picks up the victory. Now, to our final two matches at Night of Champions. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Initially, and logically, I figured the outcome of this match would be that Dean Ambrose makes his return and costs Seth Rollins the match against Roman Reigns, and that leads up to your Hell in a Cell match between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins to settle their feud once and for all. I figured that was going to happen. That is what made sense to me. However, WWE and logic don't always go together. And as we saw on Raw, not only did WWE give away Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for free, but we also had Roman Reigns beat Seth Rollins clean. So now, to see this match again, you can pay $9.99 to watch it on the WWE Network, even though Roman Reigns already beat him clean in the middle. But you can see it again. I have no idea what to think now. I don't know what's going to happen with the match on Sunday. I thought Roman Reigns would be winning on Sunday, but now, because of what happened on Raw, once again, what I mentioned a few minutes ago, WWE likes to book things where one guy wins and then the other guy gets his win back. So I guess I would have to go with Seth Rollins winning this match somehow, some kind of outside interference, maybe Kane. Kane is always good for outside interference on behalf of the Authority, so I guess I'll go with Roman Reigns losing to Seth Rollins with outside interference from Kane, and then Dean Ambrose will come back, and then they'll have a tag team match, and then that'll lead to Hell in a Cell, I guess. I don't know, but I'll go with Seth Rollins to win this one, even though my original prediction was Roman Reigns. And finally, we have the main event. Brock Lesnar defending the World Heavyweight title, or should I say the WWE World Heavyweight title, against John Cena. Logic should tell you that Brock Lesnar wins this third match between the two of them since Brock Lesnar returned. This is the rubber match. John Cena won the first one at Extreme Rules 2012. Brock Lesnar won at SummerSlam. And if the long-term plan is for Brock Lesnar to continue being the dominant world champion and eventually put over somebody like Roman Reigns, then it makes sense for Brock Lesnar to retain the title here. And to me, it would be a huge mistake for him to lose the title. WWE should just keep going with this Brock Lesnar storyline. Him as the dominant champion. He conquered the Undertaker's streak. He gave John Cena the worst defeat of his career. So why stop the momentum now? I do think Brock Lesnar will win this match, but I do think that it will be much closer than the previous match. I think it will be very back and forth between the two of them. And I would even go as far to say that John Cena will come very close to winning, and something will happen. There'll be some sort of screw job. Somebody will interfere, and Brock Lesnar will just barely squeak by with a victory. That's what I'm predicting to happen at Night of Champions. Should be a really good match. I'm expecting it to be an awesome match, possibly the best one the two of them have ever had. WWE wants to make both of these guys look as strong as possible, so I really feel that WWE is going to want this to be an all-time classic, and I think it will deliver. I think that this will be a tremendous match. I think it will be well worth your $9.99. So there you have it for my predictions. Night of Champions this Sunday. Anything can happen in WWE, even if it doesn't make sense. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com all this week for breaking news regarding Night of Champions. And then this Sunday, NoDQ.com, live coverage of WWE Night of Champions. Thanks for watching.